If you plan on playing Humankind on the highest difficulty setting of Humankind, there are a number of tactics that you're going to want to familiarize yourself with that you probably didn't need to use on the lower difficulty settings, and we are going to illustrate a few of them here. The first couple of concepts will deal with maximizing efficiency during the Neolithic era, so if you are already quite familiar with how to do this, then go ahead and skip ahead to the latter part of the video, which will be addressing how to deal with the AI's early game military advantage on Humankind's setting. So first, the Neolithic era concepts, the first of which will be maximizing the amount of movement actions you receive by appropriately timing your splitting of your unit groups. The first concept is really quite simple. It is that a unit added to a group via reaching the 20 food threshold on a curiosity discovery will have its full 404 movement upon being added to the group. So this means that you can select that unit by itself and then use the transfer function to move up to 4 movement action points away from where the group currently is, even if the original group that moved onto the curiosity has no movement. The second thing that you want to keep in mind during the Neolithic era is that when you have multiple units in an area, that you'll want to keep an eye on their food supply so that you are selecting the units that will benefit the most from each curiosity or hunt or lair respectively. Don't have a clip for the last Neolithic era concept, but it's really quite simple, is that if you have two unit groups and they both have progress towards the 20 needed to add a new member, if you were to merge one of those groups into the other, it will add their food stores together, and in the event that it reaches 20, the resulting group will have one additional member because you will have collected 20 food. So once you roll over to the ancient era, you will no longer be able to get food progress on units, so you want to look for any opportunities to merge those units prior to rolling over to the ancient era. So now that we're done with the Neolithic era tips, we're going to move on here to some other tips that are very valuable if you are playing on Humankind difficulty and having trouble dealing with the AI military. This next tactic felt a little bit exploited the first time that I ran across it, and I wasn't sure if it is actually something that was intended as functionality, but looking at it in retrospect, I could see, depending on what an outpost actually is in this game, that is, it's not entirely unrealistic. So all it is basically is if you are under attack by what is clearly a superior military force, or you see enemy unit approaching on an undefended outpost, as long as they haven't reached the outpost and are already ransacking it, that you can still use the outpost relocation to delay their obtaining of the outpost and move it to somewhere that's a little farther away or harder to get to. Now, the AI seems to know exactly where you put the outpost, even if they don't have a unit over there to have visibility, because they will walk directly towards where you moved it, but it will buy you some time. The next tactic that we're going to show here is similar to the outpost relocation in that you're going to use it when you are facing a superior military force, which is going to be the case most of the time when playing on Humankind difficulty early in the game. So this is a bit more extreme than the outpost relocation, but actually this is a tactic that I do believe is used in real life. The tactic is basically a Scorched Earth strategy. You even get a small amount of gold for ransacking your own cities, but the main point is to deny the superior invading force the benefit of the resources that it would have gotten. So you simply just raise your city to the ground, which isn't optimal, but you deny the AI from taking that city. The other nice thing to keep in mind with these tactics is that it will frequently avert the battle even occurring, so you will prevent the 8 or 5 war support loss that you would have gotten for losing or retreating in the battle, giving you a little bit more time to potentially catch up and not lose the war. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and hopefully I should have some more regular Humankind, Civ 6, and other gaming content.